What is up, guys? TK with TNCUnion.com. And I wanted to talk a little bit to drivers and explain a couple things. So I've seen a couple videos that have come out where people are saying that Uber has put it in their terms and conditions because that they've changed surge so that it becomes a service fee, that they can legally take 80% of your surge, or like some of these videos I've seen with $1,000 fare and the driver only got 300 of it. No, they can't. And no, they can't. Now, yes, can they change their terms and conditions at any time and you have to agree to it to continue to drive? Yes, you also can decline updates to the service agreement and you can stay under an older agreement, in case you didn't know that. Even if and the courts in California have already ruled on this, even if you've agreed and you didn't know what you agreed to, you can always go back. You can send them notice through the Uber app, through support, and via email. Even though they say they don't monitor the support at uber.com email address, they do. And you can send that directly to Uber and say that you do not agree with them changing your surge pricing. And I advise you to do this to a service agreement or a service fee, similar to like the booking fee or something else, and you don't agree with them taking 80% of your surge. Now, if you're a driver, you agreed to a set amount, and that was 20% or 25%, depending on how long you've been driving for the company. That's what you should expect. When they multiply the amount of the fare, and this is where they get in trouble, no matter what their service agreement says, and look, attorneys, feel free to comment in the comments below. I'm already dealing with an attorney that works for the Teamsters directly, and there's already a lawsuit by riders that's about to rock Uber's world. And let me tell you what that's about. Riders are being scammed. Now, what I would tell you, that we're going to talk about a couple things as far as drivers go right now, but right now riders are paying an upfront crazy price, which they wouldn't pay if they were paying, 25% or 20% more than what you're getting paid as a driver. If you show your rider what you get paid at the end of every trip, if you have the ability to do that, you hadn't had another trip that comes in, riders are going to start getting pissed. Now, and you can also advise them to check out the lawsuit that's been filed in New York by riders against Uber for scamming on the upfront pricing, basically. So, yeah, that's a thing. So getting back into it, look, you can totally decline to allow them to do what they're doing with the service fee. The fact that they use surge as a multiplier. Now, remember when they were saying they would put $10 up front or something like that? Then, yes, as a service fee, they could get away with that. But as long as they are multiplying the fare, 2.5, 3.5, 3.6, 1.2, if they are multiplying the fare legally, and that's from the terms and conditions in their service agreement, they have to pay you minus the 20 or 25% what that fare is, no matter the upfront pricing. And listen, don't take this just from me. I've already talked to two different attorneys that work specifically in transportation. They're not just regular, fly-by-night attorneys. They work for the Teamsters Union, okay? Now you're going to say, well, TK, why are you talking to the Teamsters Union's attorneys? Because I think maybe drivers need to band together and maybe sue Uber for theft. Not for violating an agreement, but for theft, because they're legally stealing, or they're illegally stealing money from you every single day. Now, it's not just surge pricing. That's the thing. This isn't just about surge. So two things that you can do that are going to start a sea change against Uber with drivers and passengers. Show your rider at the end of every trip what you got paid. When a rider sees the massive disparity of what you were paid and what they paid, two things can happen. One, they'll probably give you a tip because they're going to feel bad. And two, they're going to start emailing Uber and going, what the actual fuck? That's what's going to happen. Pardon the language, but that's what's going to happen. When somebody sees they got billed $22 to go from, a 6-mile trip and you only got $375 of that, or, $450 of that, that's not cool. And they're not going to tolerate that. Some riders aren't going to care, but it doesn't take a lot. It doesn't take a lot to get Uber's attention. Riders are going to continue to join that class action suit. They're going to start suing Uber as more riders get on board with it and know about it. That's going to hit Uber's pockets. The more drivers that complain about their pricing and the upfront pricing and what a rider paid and what you got paid, the more times you contact support, email support, it does make a difference. I know you guys don't think it does. And I know there's going to be people going, oh, it doesn't matter what you do. Uber does whatever they want. And the fuck out of here. Nobody cares about trolls. Nobody cares about people that don't want to make a difference. There's a reason why you're still in the situation that you're in, because you lay down and take it. I'm not that kind of person. And I don't want to see you guys do that. I don't want to see drivers just have to lay down and take it. It's not a good look. So anyways, a couple things you can do. The riders already paid upfront pricing, right? Start looking for the longest route for you to get to your destination and change your nav. Get rid of in-Uber app navigation. Get rid of that shit. Start using Waze, start using Google Maps, and look for the longest route. Shout out to everybody day before yesterday that said fuck it and they wasn't going to drive on St. Patrick's Day. I know some people are going to say, oh, it didn't make a difference. But believe me, every driver that decides not to drive on Uber when there's events and things of that nature does make a difference, believe it or not. I know people think that it doesn't, but it does. So there's that. Take the longest trip. Your rider's already paid, unless you go over what that is, then the rider would get billed more, but c'est la vie. Take the longest route so that you get more money out of that, so that Uber is not taking their 70% or whatever the hell it is now. Make sure that you contact Uber and say that you do not agree to a 70% commission. They're going to say, oh no, you're at 25%. And then screenshot any disparaging fares that you have in your account and email them that and say that's not 25%. Once you've done that, you've set yourself up. Now, two things can happen. Yes, they could terminate. They could say, F it, this guy's a problem or this girl's a problem, and terminate you. That's a real possibility. I told you what to deal about that. Take their ass to court. Small claims court. It's not expensive, and you will get paid. Once you've done that with Uber, and I think if more people do this, it will wake them up, you can start keeping track of all of the fares where they're taking more than 25%. And if you take those fares, and I'm not talking about a class action lawsuit, because the only thing that's going to get Uber's attention is a bunch of drivers going after them individually for their money. And if you respect yourself and your business, you're going to go after them for your money. So go get your money. Keep track of those fares, and then what you do is, this is really simple. Go down to your local courthouse, your local municipality, and you sue Uber for 10 times whatever that amount is in small claims court. If it's more than what the max is for small claims court, you max out whatever you can sue them for. And Uber's going to pay because they're going to default. They're not going to show up. I already made another video on this, on how to go after them if they deactivate you. And it's the same thing. They're not going to show up to court. They're not going to send a representative. And then you hand that off to a collections company, or sometimes collection company will buy the judgment from you and you get paid. You don't have to worry about it no more, and they go after Uber for it. And believe me, Uber's going to fucking pay. And when you have a bunch of drivers doing that, now I know you guys are like, oh, it's not going to make a difference. 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 drivers start nailing their ass in small claims court. 3,000, 6,000, 8,000. You don't think their new board of directors and their people from Japan at SoftBank are going to go, what the fuck are all these expenses? Of course they are. They're not going to take it. They're not going to be happy about it. And they're going to institute those changes so that they can pacify the drivers, which I know you're not going to like to hear that word, but that's what it is. So that they stop getting sued and they stop getting, nailed. Or they're going to make sure that legally that they tie up their stuff so that they're not getting screwed. Because right now, the way that their terms are, and listen, I've seen a couple different videos, and look, I respect people's opinions, but I don't go with opinions. I go by law and fact, okay? And according to these Teamsters attorneys that I've dealt with, Uber's violating their terms and their agreement with drivers now because, now that's only if your surge pricing is a multiplier. If you're in a market now where it's like $10 if you agree to take this fare, or $20, then you're screwed, because they can legally do that. But in a multiplier market, 1.2, 2.5, whatever, per mile, per minute, and they multiply that and they don't pay it to you, they're in violation. Hopefully this video has been informative to you. I sincerely hope so. If you want more information, or if you want to look at maybe pursuing your own legal action against Uber and small claims court, hit me up in the comments. Put your contact information in the comments below. Or if you're seeing this on tncunion.com, comment on the post as well. And I will forward your information over to the attorneys so that they can get in contact with you. These are Teamsters attorneys. It's not going to cost you anything. I told you, when we built TNC Union, we were putting this together so that drivers weren't going to have to pay more costs and membership fees and all of this crap to try to get help that they actually need. And in some cases, that's legal counsel. So let's go ahead and try to get this thing rolling and try to make some changes for drivers, shall we? Till next time, I'll catch you guys on our next video.